me ask you something. How is it possible to work 40 hours a week or more and still feel broke? Like, you get paid, your salary, the money hits your account, and within a few days, it's basically gone. You have rent, you have bills, you have food, possibly you have gas, and most possibly you have debts that you're paying off. So each and every month, you're right back to the cycle of waiting for the next paycheck. So you get paid, you pay bills, you wait for the next paycheck, right? So if this sounds like you, you're probably not bad with money, and you're definitely not alone in this cycle. Being employed doesn't always guarantee financial stability. Not anymore. Let's be honest, not anymore. And today we're going to talk about why this is happening and what you can actually do about it. So this is Shalom and welcome back to my channel. First, let's get this straight. Struggling financially while having a job is not a personal failure. It's actually becoming, or it has actually become, our new normal. So millions of working adults are living paycheck to paycheck, not only in Kenya, but all over the world. These are people who are not unemployed, these are people who are not lazy, and these are people who are working full-time. But we are still stressed about money every single month. So you feel like you're behind in life, you feel like you're lagging behind, but I want you to know that you're not alone. The truth is, the system has changed. And here's what nobody is talking about. The cost of living all over the world, I would think, has exploded. So rent is higher, groceries cost more, gas costs more, healthcare costs more, school fees, education costs more, but your salary hasn't moved. You're still earning the same amount that you were earning 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago. So even though we are working hard, even though we are working harder, our money doesn't stretch like it used to. So if, let's say, for example, 5 years ago, you'd pay what, 8,000-10,000 Kenyan shillings for a decent one bedroom. Right now, one bedrooms are going for as much as 70,000 Kenyan shillings. You know what the sad truth is? Our parents could have survived on one income. Right now, having 2 incomes can barely cover the costs, the basics of what you need to do. And this is not a motivation problem. This is just mathematics, you know. So let's see the paycheck trap. Most jobs today are designed to keep you surviving, not thriving. So they pay you enough to show up the next day. They pay you enough to pay your bills, but not to save, not to invest. So you're just surviving, but you're not thriving. So your paycheck is going to cover the bills and maybe just a little spending. But you have no real savings, you cannot invest, and you definitely do not have any financial freedom. So you end up stuck in this cycle of you work, you get paid, you pay bills, repeat. You work, you get paid, you pay bills, repeat. And the worst part is that one emergency, just one car repair, one medical bill will set you back so much that when you think about the process of recollecting yourself financially, you go into depression, you go into a mental burnout. And I feel like right now we're not just living in stability, we're living in a survival mode. And even though the system that we're living in, the world that we're living in is tough, I would like to believe that we still have a little bit of control. So when you think about it, most of us have small money leaks that we do not notice. So you have subscriptions that you have forgotten about. Let's say you've paid for Netflix, right? And most of the time you're working. So you do not even have time to use this Netflix, but you're using it once, twice a month. So that is a leak because this is a subscription that you're paying for that you're not actually using. You're eating out too often. And when I say eating out, I do not mean expensive meals. I mean you're buying, let's say, what, chips and bhajias every day. You have impulse purchases. Come on, we're human, especially for the ladies. If you see a good wig, you see a good pair of shoe, you wanna buy it. But does your pocket really allow you to have these impulses? And the worst part is that most of us have loans that have very big interests. So when we talk about this cycle, we're not talking about one big mistake. We're talking about 20, 30 small mistakes that are draining us every month. And then at the end of the month, these are adding up very fast. So we need to have a mindset shift. And this is the part that changed everything for me. I'll be very honest with you. I work remotely, and when I realized that one job, no matter how much it pays, cannot cover all my bills, I decided to start getting more jobs. So I am not relying on one paycheck, I am relying on multiple paychecks. Because right now, in the world that we're living in, relying on one paycheck is very risky. One job is not secure, it does not give you security anymore. It actually puts you in a state of being vulnerable, if you know what I mean. Because what happens when that job stops? What happens when you get fired? What happens then? Then everything stops. You cannot feed your family, you cannot pay your kids' school fees, you cannot pay your bills, you cannot cover your rent. The risk of having one source of income is so high that I don't think in this day and era we can afford to have that. And this is how you find out that more people are building side incomes, right? So more people, you find people are freelancing, people are learning online skills, people are starting small businesses. Because again, an example with myself as well. So apart from my job and the freelance gigs that I do have a candy shop. By the way, go check it out. It's Quack and Charm Candy Shop. So I do have a candy shop. At the end of the day, I am so tired, and it's not like I want to hustle 24/7, but life has put me in a situation where I cannot be comfortable with one salary. Hell, I cannot be comfortable with two salaries, right? Because one income does not give me that protection. It does not give my family that protection anymore. So what are the practical steps that we can take, you and I, to ensure that to try to break this cycle? So one of the things that I have started doing recently, and that the whole point of making this video is to share what I've been doing with you. What I did is I bought a very small notebook. So on this notebook, I write every shilling that I spend, all right? So if I'm paying transport, if I'm buying groceries, if I'm buying my son a sweet, if I'm buying myself a charger, whatever shilling you spend, you write it down. And then at the end of the month, you have tracked these, you've tracked your spending for 30 days, right? So you can know where your money goes every month, tentatively. So you cut your biggest expenses first. You do not start with the small ones, no. You go for the big expenses first. Because when you cut those, then the amount of money that you will be saving, then is going to be more. And then if you have debts, the money that you're saving, use it to pay off your debts, and use it aggressively. Pay off debts aggressively. Like if it's the thing that you save for we're in 2026 February, if you say by the end of this year, I will have paid off all my debts, I will cut the unnecessary expenses, and then I'm going to pay off my debts. By the time you're starting the next year, then you're starting with financial stability, what you did not start with this year, right? And then you need to build a very small emergency fund. It doesn't matter if you're starting with 500 Kenyan shillings per month, if you're starting with 1,000 Kenyan shillings per month. So let's say every month you manage to save 1,000 bob. At the end of the year, at the end of 12 months, you have 12,000 Kenyan shillings. That is somewhere where you're beginning. You save that for 2 years, you have 24,000 Kenyan shillings. So this is not your savings that you're going to do an investment with. This is your emergency fund. Like in case my child falls sick, or my parent falls sick, or something happens, you have an emergency fund that you can fall back on. One of the most important things that I can tell you is that you need to learn at least one skill that can make you money online or on the side, right? So what I did is, or what I can tell you to do is, there are schools, there are sites where you can go online and learn for free. They do not charge you to learn. So you learn one skill, and as you're doing this, you're cutting expenses, you're paying off your debt, you're always looking for ways to increase your income. The goal is not to reduce spending, because what are you going to do? Are you going to degrade your house? You will move out of your house? Will you pull your kids out of school? No. So you have to find ways to increase your income, not just reduce spending. Of course, we're reducing spending, but there's some spending that you cannot just reduce, right? That's being realistic. And truthfully, there's only so much you can cut, but your income has no limit. There's no limit to how much you can earn. There's no limit to how many side hustles you can do. There's no limit to how many online courses you can go and study. So if you're working hard and you're still struggling, you're not alone and you're not broken. The system, the economy has changed. Life is more expensive than it was 15, 20 years ago. And since nobody has taught us how to adapt, we have to remember that we are not stuck. But we have to do these small changes that are going to stack up and are going to change our financial situations. So small changes are going to stack up eventually. It's not going to happen overnight. And you're going to realize that new skills open doors. So extra income creates a breathing room. It gives you space to plan, to breathe financially, and that is how you slowly escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle. So if this video has helped you in any way, feel seen, or has given you a little bit of clarity, share it with someone who needs to hear this. We will continue to have these conversations, and I hope that we are changing lives, and I hope that we are being insightful for you. So do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. God bless you.